IBC's failures and ignorance. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite YouTube channel, and it's your favorite political analysis segment, The Big Point. Dear viewers, I have casted my votes at Bokole Nursery polling station, and now I feel good because I've exercised my democratic right, though the process was pretty slow. And at our polling station, voting began at 9 a.m. And that meant that IBC was not well prepared for the exercise. So that brings us to the concern for today, the 9th of August, 2022. And the question is, why was IBC so ignorant of Raila Amollo Odinga's call for utilization of a manual register? Why was IBC that ignorant? You saw in the previous campaigns that Raila advocated for a manual register, but IBC objected to the same, citing a 2017 case between NASA and IBC, whereby the court directed that IBC use a KIEM's kit register as the main register. But court did not say that manual register be abolished completely. So the interpretation of IBC was that they would give superiority to the electronic register. But Raila cited concerns that they might fail. These electronic devices are prone to failures because they are man-made. But after a series of court battles, and the Court of Appeal gave mandate to IBC to proceed with the electronic register. So now, before we delve into the analysis of our today's session, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to personally urge first-time viewers to kindly subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that every time we upload a video, you become the first person to get notified. So, the KIEM's kit failed already. CHEBUKATI and the IEBC team are to blame for disenfranchising voters, and more so because CHEBUKATI refused to heed to professional advisors from Chief Justice Martha Koome, and Justice Koome headed the Technical Working Committee on Election Preparedness that brought together various government agencies. Agencies such as Electoral Body, ICT Ministry, Treasury Ministry, and Attorney General's Office. So that organ was labeled National Multi-Agency Consultative Forum on Election Preparedness at the Kenya School of Government. Now, dear ladies and gentlemen, that team was to see the implementation of electoral process so that to avoid future nullifications, so that would save the country of the burden for a rerun of election, like the case of 2017-2018. So when Raila proposed the use of a manual register, CHEBUKATI cited that NASA and IBC case that gave priority to electronic register. So CHEBUKATI refused to give life to the idea of a manual register even after Justice Mugure expressed reservations on the IBC's stand. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice Mugure said that if IEBC's decision to abandon manuals Justice Mugure said that if IBC's decision to abandon manual is allowed to remain unchallenged, the result will be that voters' constitutional right to vote under Article 38B would be violated. You know, Justice Mugure was merely saying that if you as a voter walk into a polling station and the KIEM's kit cannot or fail to verify you, then you will not be able to vote because the verification process has failed. So that if there was a manual register in place, then these people would go, or the IBC personnel would go to the manual register and verify your name if you exist, and maybe you'd be allowed to vote. So, dear viewers, if IBC had adhered to concern of all stakeholders, and all stakeholders, I mean the presidential candidates and the team that was formulated to oversee the preparedness of IEBC's voting process, if these concerns were adhered to, then Wajackoyah wouldn't have failed to vote in the first place. Because you understand, the KIEM skit failed to recognize Wajackoyah. And mind you, the law requires that for one to be a presidential candidate, rule number one is one must be a Kenyan voter, meaning that IEBC must have confirmed that Wajackoyah was a Kenyan voter, existed in the IEBC system. So we are facing a scenario where Wajackoyah's verification process failed. So how did verification fail for Wajackoyah, the Roots Party candidate? Then how did CHEBUKATI confirm in the first place that Wajackoyah was a member, was actually a Kenyan voter? Because it failed for this electioneering time. So that means that Raila Amollo Odinga's concern was valid. If only CHEBUKATI had listened to the concerns raised by other players, then even the case of Raymond Moi would have happened, because the verification for Raymond Moi also failed. So I think what CHEBUKATI is deliberately, or was deliberately, planning to set up the country for a series of election nullifications as a result of the incompetency at play. Because these verifications, and like the case of Garissa County, where voters are crying foul over inability of the KIEM skit to have them verified. So that means there are so many Kenyans who are now feeling disenfranchised because of this failure of election KIEM skit. Like I remember in the case of our polling station, election started a bit late. It was around 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. So that was a bit late. I remember voters came in their numbers, but because of the delay that is attributed by IEBC's inability to plan for this process successfully, most of those voters felt that no, the time was not maybe okay for them, so they ended up going to their workplaces. They didn't vote. So the case of Kakamega and the case of Mombasa County also is adding up to this challenge. So I personally think IEBC is to blame for the failure. And if by 1 p.m. IEBC was claiming that around 30% had turned up, from the verification numbers, then it means that was a very small number. 30% is a small number by around 1 to 2 p.m. because most of the voters, they cast their votes in the morning session. So we don't expect a 30% in the afternoon session. We expect like 10 to 15% of turnout for the afternoon session. So that already symbolizes that there is a failure in the turnout of this voting exercise, and that is attributed by IEBC's incompetency. I don't want to go back to the days of this mathematics staffs. Don't want to go back to the days where CHEBUKATI was asked about ballot boxes arrival of ballot papers, whereby he did not know whether those ballot papers were going to arrive. I don't want to know to go back to yesterday's case, whereby the mix-up of these votes of the ballot papers. I don't want to go to that level, but already those are symbols that IEBC was not prepared for this exercise. Now, dear ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wind up there, and I promise to still give you more information on this IEBC's inability to conduct a free and fair election, an election that meets the threshold that were preset by the courts in the 2017-2018 judgments. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wind up, and if you are viewing our channel for the first time, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and you can comment below there. See you later, until we meet again. So once again, I'd like to say, stay safe, stay blessed, and see you later.